the department does not take a position. Attorney Matteo, presented the liquor control agent who, conducted the investigation. But in terms of remonstrances, it's really up to the remonstrant, the agent for the remonstrance, to present their case. So if you had asked them, to attend, that would have been on, for you to ask. But we don't have, the ability to subpoena someone for a remonstrance to, require someone to attend.
Okay. I wouldn't think that they would say yes, being that the ball was dropped by them. So I thought you would have to subpoena.
Just so you know, we have had remonstrances where we have had, town or city officials
Okay.
attend. We've had the mayor of New Haven attend one. We've had
Okay.
zoning officials attend in the past. So in the future, if need be,
Sure.
you can make that request.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Okay, Attorney Porto, I'm going to turn it over to you now.
Thank you, Commissioner. Attorney Matteo, can you pull up my exhibits, or do you want me to share my screen?
I'll pull them up. I have them up actually already to go. So just let me know when you go through your testimony, and I can bring them up as needed.
All right, why don't we start with Respondents Exhibit 1, please?
Certainly. Bear with me.
Thank you. Okay. Commissioner, I'm going to start with Mr. Patel. Mr. Patel has already been sworn in. I don't think you need to swear him in again, but so I think if it's okay with you, I'll just jump right into my examination.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Mr. Patel, can you please give the commission your full name and your home address, please? Oh, you got to take yourself off of mute. George, can you take him off of mute, please? All right, start again.
Yes, my name is Sunil Kumar Patel. I'm the permittee of liquor store. It's located 221 Bull Hill Lane, West Haven. And my home address is 15 Great Meadow Drive, North Haven, Connecticut, 06473.
Okay. Now, Attorney Matteo, can you scroll down a little bit, please, on this application?
Sure, bear with me for just a moment.
Mr. Patel, did you file an application with the West Haven Planning and Zoning Commission for the construction of a liquor store at 221 Bull Hill Lane?
Yes.
Is that your signature on the application?
Yes.
Do I need to go through the process of offering these, or can these be marked as full exhibits, or did it go in as ID first? What is the process of marking documentary evidence with this commission?
Usually, once it's called up, you identify what it is and, its purpose. And then at that point, we will mark it as an exhibit.
Okay. And Mr. Patel, you filed this on, looks like you signed it on March 3rd, 2021. Is that correct?
Correct.
And is that your signature?
Yes.
And you're the applicant?
Yes.
All right. I would offer a Respondents Exhibit 1 as a full, as a full exhibit, please.
Okay, we'll mark this as Respondents Exhibit 1.
Okay. Attorney Matteo, can you please pull up Respondents Exhibit 2?
You see it?
I do, thank you. If you could scroll down, please. Mr.
Sure.
Patel, did you, in addition to filing the application for a liquor permit, did you also have to file a supplemental application with the West Haven Planning and Zoning Commission?
Yes.
And was that, does that document bear your signature?
Yes.
And is that document dated March 3rd, 2021?
Correct.
Please say it louder.
Yes.
And does this have to do with the application for a liquor store at 221 Bull Hill Lane in West Haven, Connecticut?
Yes.
When you filed an application, Mr. Patel, did you receive from the commission clerk a list of abutters that you had to provide notice to by mail?
Yes.
Did you send out the letters in accordance with the instruction that you received from the commission clerk?
Yes.
Did you provide verification of that to the commission when you appeared for your hearing in front of the West Haven Planning and Zoning Commission on April 13th, 2021?
Yes.
Attorney Matteo, if you could kindly call up Respondents Exhibit 3.
Okay, don't recall. I'm not sure if we officially marked that as Respondents Exhibit number 2.
I'm sorry, I would claim
Okay,
Respondents Exhibit 2 as a
okay,
full exhibit.
okay, thank you. We'll have it so marked.
Mr. Patel, do you recall attending a meeting of the West Haven Planning and Zoning Commission on the evening of April 13th, 2021?
Yes.
During that hearing, did you or a representative on your behalf present to the West Haven Planning and Zoning Commission your application for a liquor store at 221 Bull Hill Lane?
Yes.
Did the commission accept the application?
Yes.
Did the commission consider the application?
Yes. Yes.
Please say yes or no. I can't hear you.
Yes.
Did the commission or the commission chairwoman ask?
Yeah, we're just now 221.
Sorry.
Remember, pick up students at the rear.
I'm sorry, I just got some feedback. Did anybody else hear that, or was that just?
Yeah, I think Miss Bias may have unmuted her microphone.
May I proceed?
Yes,
Mr. Patel, I was asking you about the hearing on April 13th, 2021. Did the commission chairwoman ask all people in attendance if anyone wanted to speak in favor or against the application?
Yes.
Did anybody speak in opposition to the application?
No.
I would like to, and then thereafter, was the hearing closed?
Yes.
And then did the commission vote?
Yes.
And then if you scroll down, Attorney Matteo, did the commission unanimously approve the application?
Yes.
I would like to claim Respondents Exhibit 3 as a full exhibit.
okay, we'll have that marked as Respondents Exhibit 3.
Attorney Matteo, if you can kindly pull up Respondents Exhibit 4, please.
What's up?
Thank you. Mr. Patel, shortly after the hearing on the 13th day of April 2021, did you receive a certificate of decision from the West Haven Planning and Zoning Commission?
Yes.
Is this a copy of the certificate of decision that you received?
Correct. Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Did you say yes? Can you talk louder, please?
Yes.
And this confirms that the commission approved your application for a liquor store at 221 Bull Hill Lane, correct?
Yes.
I would like to enter Exhibit 4, Respondents Exhibit 4 as a full exhibit.
Okay, we'll have that marked as Respondents Exhibit number 4.
And then Attorney Matteo, if you can thank you, pull up Respondents Exhibit 5. Commissioner, if you could just scroll down a little bit, Attorney Matteo, please.
Sure.
Commissioner, I would like the commission to take judicial notice of Respondents Exhibit 5. There's been some testimony that Tutor Time is a school. This piece of evidence stands for the proposition, and this is from a state of Connecticut judicial website, that the school is licensed as a daycare center. It's not a school, or the facility, I should say. Let me be clear. the facility is licensed as a child care center, not as a school. That is the sole purpose that I am offering that document, and I would move that it be made a full exhibit.
Mark that as Respondents Exhibit 5.
Okay. Mr. Patel, with regard to your liquor store, do you allow loitering?
No.
Do you allow open containers in the store or in the immediate vicinity of outside of your store?
No.
Do you, have you operated package stores in the past?
Yes.
For how long have you operated package stores?
Like 15 years.
You got to talk louder, please.
15 years.
15 years?
Yes.
Do you keep your store in West Haven? You keep your storefront clean and orderly?
Yes. Every day.
Have you, and your store has been open in West Haven since when?
April 14th.
April 14th,
Yes.
2022?
2022.
So during the approximate 4 weeks that it's been open, Mr. Patel, have you received, and have you worked in the store? Have you personally been there?
Yes.
And how often are you there?
Most of every day.
Have you personally been made aware of any complaints?
No.
No, let me finish. Have you been made aware of any complaints by anybody from Tudor Time?
No.
Those are all the questions I have for Mr. Patel. I do have one more witness, but I know your commission can ask questions, as can Ms. Baez.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Patel, do you know what was located before the liquor store at that location?
My wife owned the liquor store. The permit is my wife. Permit is.
No, what do you know before you opened the liquor store at that location, that building specifically? Do you know what was in that building before you opened the liquor store?
Oh, sorry to misunderstand. Is a empty spot is before is nothing there, like beauty supply stores, they closed down before 3 years something.
Okay, so it was empty before
Yes.
possession. Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
This is either to Attorney Patel or Mr. Patel or Attorney Porto. In Exhibit 3 and/or 4, I saw that the exception notice or the notice for the meeting mentioned that it was one of the last 23, it was 23 of 23 available in the town of West Haven, and that was in the discussion. Nowhere in that special exception notice did it mention anything about within the 1,500 feet or a violation of the 1,500 feet or a special exception for the 1,500 feet. Do you have something that shows that?
I'm not sure what the question is. Do I have something?
So when you look at the special exception, the notice that was sent out, I think in Exhibit 3, that you showed and you referenced the zoning board, what their notice shows and the hearing and the minutes from the hearing. It mentions that this is 23 of 23 liquor stores available in town, but it doesn't mention that the special exception of 1,500 to be under the 1,500 square feet. And it doesn't say it's granted, nor does it even mention it in the notice that you showed. So is there something in there that shows that this was a request for a variance or a special exception of being within the 1,500 square feet?
Commissioner, this is the meeting minutes.
Correct.
So I already put into evidence the applications that were filed,
Okay.
and the commission considered the applications and granted the applications, and I provided the commission with evidence of the approval.
Approval of what is my question.
What?
I didn't see the initial application. You submitted it, but we didn't get to see the whole application. That's why I'm asking you the question. So what did you request and what was the approval granted for? I only saw the approval that does not mention the 1,500 square feet special exception.
So you want to see the application again?
If that's possible, we did not see the full application. I guess that's back to Scott. Can we see the full application, Scott? Please.
Yeah.
Yep, let me get it
Attorney
up.
Matteo, I'm sorry.
Yep, let me get it. And Attorney Porter, what exhibit is that? Just for the record?
The applications are responded to exhibit 1 and 2.
1 and 2, okay.
I think the one that Commissioner Boletto wants to see, I suspect, is 2. But why don't we look at both? Because I don't want to, I want to make sure he gets his question answered.
Okay. So this is 1.
Can you slowly scroll down, Scott? Thank you. I'm sorry, Attorney Matteo.
That's okay.
Application liquor permit. Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Liquor store. Okay.
Right. So the information you're looking for is on the next one.
Okay.
Commissioner Boletto, do you want me to move on to? exhibit
Just
2?
scroll down. You can scroll down. I'm reading it. Just scroll. That's fine.
Okay.
You can go a little faster if you want, Scott. Just to see what's filled in. Thank you. I'm sorry, Attorney Matteo.
That's all right.
Existing storefront. Okay. Yep. If you can go to the next one, that's fine.
All right.
I think this is paragraph 7 is the information you're looking for.
Wow. Wait, hold on, Scott, right there. Nearest school, 2,062 square feet. Nearest playground, 1,168 square feet. All right, keep going down, please. Okay, so nowhere in here it mentions 1,500 square feet, and if anything, your client inaccurately filled out that document of what a school or a playground is when he applied to the town of West Haven. So nowhere in there do you ask for a special exception, nor do I think you're granted a special exception for being within the 1,500 square feet. So I think the zoning board didn't actually award what you're requesting, and I don't see anywhere with the proof that it did in their decision, in their minutes, nor in your application. And I think your application is flawed. I think it's incorrect. And I don't think there's a school or playground within 2,062 square feet or 1,100 square feet.
Commissioner, I'm not sure if you're offering an opinion or you're asking a question.
I'm asking a question when I basically, I'm confused on the filing of the document, and I'm asking regarding the filing of the document, who filled that out and who filed that document?
Okay. The Mr. Patel filled it out. Okay. They hired an engineer to obtain the information with regard to the distance from the location to the nearest school, church, and playground. And as I just put into evidence, Commissioner, the daycare is a daycare. It's not a school. So calling it a school doesn't make it a school. It doesn't satisfy the definition of a school, and its own licensing confirms that. So it can't be considered a school. So it's not flawed, and it is not inaccurate, and it doesn't misrepresent anything. And furthermore, that was an issue for the zoning commission, not for this commission. So I appreciate your opinion, but it's not accurate. Is there anything else I can address? Okay. May I continue? Or Ms. Baez, do you have, I'm so sorry.
No, I'm sorry. We were,
I do, yeah.
no, excuse me.
Oh.
Commissioner Bellato, do you have any further questions before I turn it over to Commissioner McKinney?
No, not at this time, man. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner McKinney, do you have any questions for Mr. Patel?
What are the hours of operation?
Morning 10 to 10, evening, nighttime.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, was that 10 to 10?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
10 a.m. to 10 p.m.?
10 p.m. Sorry.
Okay. And has anyone, maybe this has been asked, I apologize, but has anyone come into your store, whether a representative from Tutor Time or a parent or anyone from the public come into your store to lodge any complaints?
No,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, Ms. Bias, do you have any questions for Mr. Patel?
Actually, Mr. Patel, and I don't want to come off as being offensive. You stated you live in North Haven.
Yes,
Did you consider setting up any liquor stores near your home or in your town or near any buildings in North Haven?
I don't find any.
Nothing was available?
No, not in the North Haven.
Okay. Okay. And morally, it's okay that you sell liquor near a school, daycare, learning center, church, laundromat? It's okay with you morally?
Yes,
Okay.
because it's the kids, they don't come out and the parents pick up from door and they leave from there.
Has arrived and is in late.
Okay, would you have your child attend a daycare with a liquor store in the same area?
It's like a business district, so anybody open anything, so I don't mind for that.
Okay. I was in my concern would be
Yeah,
that,
if neighborhood, yes, I'll concern little, yes, but it's a business district.
right, and there and across the street and behind it, it's a residential area, right, with a lot of units, like different complexes that surround the liquor store. So
Yeah,
I get good for business, but it's just the location I have a problem with, you know, because our children have enough to deal with today, you know, than it being the risk factor of them wondering, ooh, what are these flashing lights? It's very impressionable to the young mind. I just had another question about one of those documents, because if I could recall correctly, initially there was no entrance as far as distance to the playground. That particular line was empty. I myself have a problem. I think that that document is flawed because initially you didn't even know, correct me if I'm wrong, you didn't even know a playground existed. So you didn't even answer that question initially, correct?
Survey by the legal license surveyor.
Mhm.
It's not me. I know survey that one is a surveyor. I hired the surveyor for that.
Well, the surveyor, somebody put that distance in there. It was not, there was no information on that line. That line was empty.
Okay, do you have any specific question for Mr. Patel?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm all set.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Patel. Attorney Porto, do you have another witness?
Yes, George Black, sitting right next to
And
Mr. Patel.
has arrived, and this is not,
May I proceed?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I just want to make sure you were sworn in at the beginning of the hearing, correct?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Black, can you please give your name and address and your relationship to Mr. Patel?
My name is George Black, 17 Webb Street, Hamden, Connecticut, 06517. My relationship with Mr. Patel is a friend. I do a lot of his work for construction, contracting. Built the store in 221 Bill Hill Lane.
So you built out the interior of the store.
I refit the interior. Yes, correct.
And Mr. Black, how long did you work on the interior of the store for?
5 months, start to finish.
Were you there every day?
6 days a week, sometimes 7.
Right. The area where this store is, it's a business district?
Yes, it's stores. There's a ShopRite, there's Kohl's across the street. So it's a residential and business district, yes.
Yep. You went through the process, or did you go through the process of obtaining all approvals from department heads in the town of West Haven?
Yes, start with a general permit, and then I had to get an electrical permit. I had to get a zoning approval to sign off, to get refrigeration, HVAC permit, approval from the fire department, fire marshal, and at the end, you have to get everything inspected, and then you get a certificate of occupancy from the town after zoning signs off again. And then you get your certificate of occupancy, and then you're allowed to open the store. From the town's point, you're allowed to open the store.
Did you also get a certificate of zoning compliance from?
Twice.
Twice, yep, okay. So you got all of the necessary permits from both the municipal zoning officers, the municipal zoning commission, as well as all department heads, fire, electric, plumbing, all those permits.
Yes, you cannot, in most towns, you're not allowed to start work until you get the sign off from the zoning department, because what's the point? If zoning doesn't agree, that's you're done. You're not allowed to do anything. So
Right,
yes, zoning has to sign off twice.
Right, but let's just stay on point here. Let's not talk about most towns. Let's talk
Okay.
about what happened here.
All right, go
So
ahead.
you got all the approvals,
Yes,
and you have a certificate of occupancy for the store,
yes,
and a provisional permit to operate as a package store.
yes.
Now, during the time, what did you say you were there for? 5 months?
Yeah, give or take a week or two.
Yep. Okay. Now, did you have occasion to see how the daycare center operates?
Yes.
And what I mean by
morning,
operates, I'm talking very specifically about drop off and pickup.
Yes.
All right. So based on your personal observation of having been in this area for 5 months, building out this store, can you explain to the commission quickly how the process of drop off and pickup works?
Okay, so from what I saw, I usually arrive at work about 7:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. And I was actually very impressed of how they queue the cars up, and the kids are taken out and greeted at the front door by an attendant or whoever is inside taking care of the kids. So I was impressed on how orderly and how safe they do it.
Okay.
Now in the afternoon, I leave at like maybe 4:30, and it's done the same way, but I'm not there till 5. I believe they close at around 5 o'clock, because from about 3:30 to say around 4:30, the cars get queued up again, but it's not like the kids are out in the parking lot. They don't allow it.
Right. So the kids are not in the parking lot, and the cars
No.
are queued up right in front of the daycare?
Yes.
Now, Is there any need for the patrons that are going to the package store? Do they have to park anywhere near the daycare?
No, we have plenty of parking in front and we have plenty of parking in the back and we have parking on the side. Pretty much the Tutor Time people they're in the other building. They're not attached to our building. And there's the most of the cars that are there are the people that are working there because their kids are getting dropped off and picked up at the front door, vice versa, dropped off, picked up, whatever.
During the time that you were working there and building out the store, did anybody from Tutor Time come to you and express reservation with regard to, or reservation or concern, or any type of negative comment about a package store?
None whatsoever. In fact, most of I got was when you're going to open, not negative comments. No.
Okay, Mr. Patel already testified the package store opens at 10. So the drop off that you witnessed at 7:30 in the morning, that's already done, right? And the package store is not open until some 2.5 hours later.
Correct.
Correct. And then their pickup is at some point in the afternoon. Okay. I'm sorry, Commissioner, I'm just checking my notes very quickly. Mr. Black, during the period of time that you were working there, did you have occasion to have any interaction at all with anybody from Tutor Time?
No.
Okay, those are all the questions I have. Well, actually, one more thing. So the outside of the store, Mr. Black, can you testify briefly as to how the store presents, please, how it looks, how it's kept?
Well, before we started building the store, I had a conversation with Mr. Patel. So we don't have any billings. We don't have any paper. We have some neon lights, of course, but there's none of the cardboard. So we're trying to keep it very clean, neat, simple, and professional. So it won't be seeing posters and some of the other package stores. You see a million different pricing or whatever. We don't do it like that. We do it a little bit upscale.
Is the storefront kept clean?
Immaculate, and I can testify that Sonny has a few other liquor stores and a few other businesses, some of which I've built, and he always keeps the property clean. In fact, he's overboard. We do landscape. We can't do landscaping here, but he's very clean and very neat, and he likes to run his business that way. So I can testify for that.
Okay. And again, you testified there's more than sufficient parking in front of the store or behind the store in this present location at the complex in West Haven.
Yeah, we have about 20. We have about 20 spaces in the back. There's 6 on the side and in the front. In front of the laundromat, in front of our store, it's got to be another 20. And then Tutor Time uses the parking in the back and in the front of their building. But parking is not an issue for us. It's a very large lot. In fact, it's they just spent money and put brand new LED lights. So at night, the parking lot is lit up beautifully now. So before it wasn't, now it is. They just did it about 2 weeks ago.
All right. Those are all the questions I have.
Okay, Commissioner McKinney, do you have any questions for Mr. White?
No, I don't. I do have a question for Attorney Porto, but I'll wait until after.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Boletto, do you have any questions for Mr. Black?
Yes, Mr. Black, when you went to the zoning board, did you know there was a 1,500-foot requirement from any school or operation of that nature?
I just went with the approval. I didn't, I'm the builder, so I know that Mr. Patel got the zoning approval.
Okay, but you testified earlier about the zoning approval and what towns do, so you didn't get the zoning approval? I'm sorry,
No,
that's
I
what
did
you're
not get the
testifying
zoning
to.
approval.
Okay,
Mr. Patel got the zoning approval.
okay, thank you.
I just needed to get the sign off to build.
Okay, Ms. Bias, do you have any questions?
I just had a question in regards to Mr. Black stating that he witnessed drop off right in front of the center. Is that correct? Parent drops off?
Yes, I took, when I was building the store, I noticed, and that's why I was impressed on how they queue the cars pull up, kids get out, and then somebody greets them at the front door. And then it's the same way in the afternoon. I mean, I'm not staring at the door 24 hours a day, but I noticed how they do it, is my point.
Okay, so I just want to clarify this. Is the bus letting the kids off and they're being greeted, or are the parents parking in front of the center and walking their children in?
Well, I would suspect it's, like I said, I'm not staring at the front door 24 hours a day, but I did notice, and they don't use the bus that often. I noticed that as well, too. So they have I believe it's 2 white buses and a yellow bus that I noticed they don't use too much. But my point is, it's not like the kids are running around in the parking lot. You don't see it. What you see is the cars pulling up, queuing up, and then the kids get out.
Okay, I just think that we see 2 different things. The cars have to actually park and walk their child. It's not a door-to-door service.
About if you go there in the morning, you're going to see about 90% is cars pulling up and to the front door. And then every once in a while, yes, you will see somebody park
Okay,
close to the door and then carry their toddler or whoever to the door. But 90, I'm going to say a good portion is door to door.
okay, so for instance, you ever see 10 cars in a row? Because I imagine there is a high traffic.
What I see is 2 or 3, and I'm testifying that I notice it's 2 or 3 at a pop, and then they get out. But I'm not staring at their business, while I'm working, but I did take notice of it. So I'm sure.
So there is one way. There is one way in. Right? There's one way in if you follow the arrows, or is it 2-way?
It can go, it does both ways. You can go both ways in the parking lot.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Black. Attorney Porto?
I have no follow-up, but I think Commissioner McKinney had a question for me, he mentioned.
Yeah, I did, if that's okay. Can we, because we had some discussion about it, can we pull up, I think it was your last exhibit regarding, it was the exhibit that you offered regarding tutor time, and
That was exhibit 5, I believe.
okay, so that's it right there. And I'm sorry, Attorney Porto, this is tutor times licensing from the state of Connecticut?
That is correct.
And is that from the Department of Education?
Department of Education. No, I don't believe so.
Okay, do you know, can we look at the top? Does it have what agency of the state? Or maybe we can scroll down, Scott?
It actually says inactive and withdrawn closed. So whatever that company is closed. The one that you
Well,
showed is an
Can we keep,
inactive, withdrawn, closed.
can we keep going down?
Nothing else. That's it.
Okay. So we don't know what,
Right, that's not their current license or their current registration.
It's the only one that I've found.
Okay. Well, okay. We'll have to take a look at that then.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I just want to make sure Commissioner McKinney, Commissioner Boletto, do you have any further questions before I let them proceed with any final comments?
No, thank you.
I do not.
Okay, thank you.
Hearing Officer Steiber, could Mr. Black just clarify the spelling of his first name just for the record if he hasn't already?
George, George.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. At this time, Ms. Bias, it's your opportunity. If you have any closing statements or comments, you can make them at this time.
I would just like to make the closing argument of considering the my complaint and abiding by the law, and also thinking about the demographics again, and the liquor store surrounding the Black and brown population as well, and our children, and asking you to consider revoking the permit, whose ever oversight it was. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Attorney Porto?
Thank you. So we understand the movement bears the burden of proof, right? And the statute requires that there has to be a showing based upon a reasonable probability that the package store, the use, will have a detrimental impact on whatever is being claimed, in this instance, the daycare center. And Ms. Baez and her witness, Mr. Brown, both testified that they have no evidence of any detrimental effect. The investigating officer testified that there is no evidence of detrimental effect. So by operation of law, the complainant's case fails. It is based on supposition and unsubstantiated potential fears and concerns, of which there is literally zero evidence by their own admission. I would further indicate that the statute removes from this commission's jurisdiction issues involving local zoning rulings, specifically the very ones that are at issue in this matter. The complainant has indicated their only concern, the basis, I should say, for the remonstrance is the location of the package store. The location of the package store was an issue that was addressed and resolved by the West Haven Planning and Zoning Commission, and as the investigator testified, for a period of time, her work was halted while the city of West Haven determined whether or not it was going to act in any particular way with regard to the approval that issued in, I want to say, April of 2021. Ultimately, she received word from the zoning enforcement officer that the approval stood. As Mr. Black testified, all necessary department head sign-offs and permits were issued, including a certificate of zoning compliance and ultimately a certificate of occupancy. In the absence of any affirmative evidence of detrimental effect occasioned by the location of the package store, there is no basis for this commission to consider denying or withdrawing or otherwise not granting the permit requested.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Porto. I just want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who came today and testified. We appreciate your time. Attorney Matteo, do you have?
Yeah, I'd like to give Agent Driffin the opportunity to come forward and make a statement. I'm going to promote her to panelist.
Okay.
Trying to promote her to panelist.
Sorry, took a minute.
So Agent Driffin, you had indicated that you would like to speak to something on the record here.
So I know that the agent for the remonstrance wasn't aware that she had the opportunity to call the officials from the city of West Haven. I'm not sure if that's something that we could allow for her to have the opportunity to do. The issue seems to be that the initial application was rescinded by the town for a length of time for whatever reason. And it's not whether the applicant is currently operating a bona fide liquor store or whether we even issued a provisional there according to the normal procedures. Something happened from the time the initial approval was granted by the town. There were several months, several meetings that happened with the town, and then consequently a special approval was given for the property, even though it didn't comply with the normal regulations or distances of 1,500 feet. I'm not aware that the agent for the remonstrances knew that she had the authority to contact the town and ask them to come to this hearing. So I just think that's an important point that we need to look into.
Not sure what you're asking.
I'm asking if the agent for the remonstrance would like the opportunity to have testimony added to this from the city at maybe a later date or either in writing or something.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Bias, did you want to request having the record left open for purposes of any documentation you would like to receive from the town zoning or anyone else? And then I would also obviously give Attorney Porto an opportunity to respond to anything additional submitted into the record.
Yes, thank you. I would like the opportunity to reach out to West Haven Planning and Zoning and to submit any information that would help in this hearing.
Okay, is that all right with Commissioners McKinney and Boletto?
Yes.
Yes, I think we should put a deadline on when that should be submitted. We should give Attorney Porto, he should receive a copy of it and should be given an opportunity to respond.
Can I be heard?
I would also, if we're going to do this, I would also like Attorney Porto, at least if he felt necessary, to address the issue of whether or not Tutor Time is a school that comes within the 1,500 feet regulations. As I understand it, Tutor Time is not licensed by the State Department of Education. It's licensed as a daycare center by the State Department of Public Health. So it may be, I'm not suggesting it is, but it may be that legally Tutor Time is not a school, and therefore the distance between Tutor Time and the package store does not need to be 1,500 feet. So maybe there's regulations around daycares. I don't know, but I think that should be addressed, because we're under the impression here that Tutor Time is a school and it's within 1,500 feet of the liquor store. And I think there's a real legal question as to whether or not Tutor Time meets that definition.
Attorney Porto, did you want to be heard?
Yes, thank you. So there certainly is regulatory authority with regard to daycares, and I could obtain that information, Commissioner, and I could try to get additional information. However, what concerns me is, and I get a sense of what the disposition of the commission is, but for the benefit of the record, my client is operating presently under a provisional permit, which by its own definition is restricted in terms of time, right? It's 90 days. He has a significant, financial interest in this. We each had the opportunity to marshal our evidence and present our witnesses today. The complainant didn't ask to extend the hearing. Inspector Driffin just created this notion after the close of evidence, after she completed testifying, and then of her own volition decided that it would be a good idea that we leave the record open, which will have a detrimental effect on my client if this body is not able to rule before the 90-day provisional permit expires. So I object generally to the hearing being left open.
Well, a few things. That is solely within the discretion of the commission. The commission has the authority, if it wants to allow, and has done so on many, many occasions, to leave the record open for allowing for whether it's briefs or additional information.
Mhm.
This is a remonstrance. And, Ms. Bias has stated she's not an attorney. And so, we give a little bit more leeway, given the fact that an agent for a remonstrant does not have to be an attorney. So, we understandably, I think, give a little more leeway and flexibility because we recognize that fact. So, cognizant of the fact that there's, the 90 days for the provisional, which, correct me if I'm wrong, can be extended or renewed. Isn't that correct? So I don't think the 90 days, really has an impact because it can be renewed and your client continues to operate. He's not being shut down or anything else during, the course of this. So there's really no harm, but I think it would be beneficial for everyone to give, to clarification for the commission to, on the issue of, is this a daycare or is this a school? I think it is a daycare, but we can, 100% clarify that fact, and also give Ms. Bias an opportunity to reach out to, any town officials, zoning officials, if she thinks it would help clarify, a process that was not typical. We don't usually have zoning approve something and then, have the agent be contacted and say, please hold off, and then subsequently get another approval. We recognize there was ultimately approval from zoning. But again, I think we just err on giving opportunity for everyone to be heard and feel like they've had a fair hearing. So, Commissioner McKinney, do you have a recommendation in terms of what kind of time frame?
Well, I approve of what we're doing. I agree with Attorney Porto that we should not go too long, but I'm nervous of the fact that we're dealing with city government in general, and perhaps what we all know is the most dysfunctional city government in the state of Connecticut right now. That they'll get anything in time, but I would think at least maybe until Friday the 27th, which is a full week, would be fair, and then giving Mr. Porto till Friday the 3rd to respond. I don't know how I don't know how you feel about that, Commissioner Boletto, or.
Sure.
Okay, so
I would just recommend to Ms. Bias, if she wants to reach out to the city of West Haven, that she do that, first thing tomorrow morning, and tell them that if they want to weigh in on this, they need to do so by end of business on Friday the 27th, and that whatever they provide needs to also be given to Attorney Porto. And if I could, I don't want to keep assigning work to Attorney Porto, but I would also like to hear, as a legal matter, if the city of West Haven issued a permit in error, assuming that is the case, then legally, is it the response? Is there a legal avenue for the city of West Haven to correct that error versus that being the duty of the Liquor Commission?
Okay. Commissioner Belletto, are you comfortable with the 27th and 30th being the deadlines?
Sure, just if that's okay with everybody, remember Memorial Day falls in between there, so she really loses that Friday. I'm sure most people will not be around the Friday on the 27th, and then the following, Attorney Porter loses as Memorial Day in that week, so just everybody remember that.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Bias, if we can get a response, and if you don't get a response from them within that time frame, please let Attorney Matteo and Attorney Porto be aware of that fact also. But we will give you till the 27th, and Attorney Porto, if you would like to respond to what other further information Ms. Bias provides, and if you have clarification on the issues that Commissioner McKinney has raised, we'll give you till Friday the 30th.
All right.
Is everyone clear on how we're proceeding?
I'm
Yes.
sorry. I got my dates confused. I thought it was 5/27 and 6/3.
Correct, Friday the 3rd.
Oh, I apologize.
You said the 30th, Madam Chairwoman.
I apologize. Okay, so it is the 1st.
The first,
June 3rd, Friday, June 3rd.
June 3rd, 6/3. Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't have the calendar in front of me.
I can also represent for the record, sorry to interject here, Officer Cyber, that to the extent that there's any sort of expiration of Mr. Patel's provisional permit, the department would agree to extend that while the case is proceeding.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And Attorney Matty, I'd like to touch base with you afterwards to discuss Commissioner McKinney's question about essentially whether or not this commission has the authority to seek legal redress if a application was submitted in error. I don't know if you're going to want to weigh in on that as the attorney for the board.
I'm not the attorney for the board. I don't represent them. I'm not writing the decision, so it wouldn't be my place to have that conversation with you.
Okay. One less thing to do then.
So I had asking for clarification. So I am to get a written response, or will this be another Zoom?
No, we're not having a further extension, on Zoom. Just if you can, anything, that you want to pursue should be something in writing.
Okay, good enough.
Okay.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you. Okay, all right. As long as everyone, if we're clear on everything, for purposes of today, we can close this hearing with the understanding that the final closing date will be June 3rd.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for attending. It's 3:12 p.m. and this hearing is closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will stop the recording now.